All right, let's kick this off. Happy New Year, everyone. And it's time to get rocking and rolling. And we're going to come up with some great strategies this year and great tips that have worked for other people. And, you know, it's like I always used to say to my son, sharing is caring. That's what it is. So we're going to share everything we know to help your business this year, to help your production, to help your organization, to help your growth. Whatever you're looking to do, this is the place to be because we'll help you. All right. So make sure you invite people. Make sure you come in. People are having problems with their internet. People are having problems with their sound. There's weather problems all over the place. There's fire problems in California, unfortunately. So I just want to send out my prayers to all the people affected by the fires. Hopefully Tracy and her family are okay, and anybody else that we have up that way, let's really try to support them and help them. All right. So with that being said, Mitchie, what's our topic today again?
So our topic is confidence to try different things.
Yeah,
So really, what things have you guys done that you were way out of your comfort zone in doing, but did it anyways?
Well, I know at one point Dave Lawson was a male dancer at parties, so he got out of his comfort zone on that. He was the inspiration for Magic Mike. The movie Magic Mike was actually supposed to be Magic Dave, but they changed it to Magic Mike.
Yeah, Dave, I told him they couldn't use my name.
That's right. Dave, start us off. I love Dave Luxury Lawson. It's snowing in Park City. He just got off the slopes. He's selling all the luxury homes. Dave, what have you gone outside your comfort zone to try that's helped your business?
Well, I just wanted to start with that you have to be open to try new things. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. We have to learn for it. The other thing is right now, because so many agents are hurting, that they're not spending any money and we're spending money. We've started new mailer campaigns and we've started different things that are, they're not free. We're trying to keep the price down, but at the end of the day, they're working. In fact, I'm going on a $5.5 million listing. And we just listed a property at $1.6 million, and it came off of some of the new stuff that we're doing. But it has to start with mindset, right? And you have to look at your business, and you got to say, do I not have any money because there's things that you can do? Do I have a little money, or do I really want to invest in my business? Matt's invested in his business, for 25 years, right, Matt? And he spent a ton of money on it. So you start there, and then when you start something, especially if it's marketing, it don't give up after 1 or 2 or 3 times because they have to hear it a lot. Because of this group, we've implemented Fellow, and that's going, and some of you guys can talk about that. We've implemented the Real Marketing, and that's been good for me for, I don't know, I think I started that maybe around 7 or 8 or 9 years ago. And there's a lot of little things that you can do. But at the end of the day, you have to have a plan, and I unfortunately have to go because I have a meeting that I need to go to. So that's why I just wanted to start out. So I'm going to get the recording of this and I'm going to listen to it, but I'm going to turn it over to everybody else. So thank you, everyone.
Dave, you're the best. Happy New Year. Dave always is kind of, breaking the envelope and doing new things and always advancing his business. He's always looking for an edge. He's always looking what he can try to get out in front of the market and where the market's going. So that's really, really cool. Let's go to the youngest person in our chat. Let's go to Cam the Man. No, it's not you, Mitch. Almost. So I want to go to Cam the Man. And Cam, what have you been doing, or what have you tried that was kind of outside your comfort zone that you did to help your business?
Yeah, great question. And good seeing everyone. First off, let's start with that because it's good seeing everyone back from the holidays. New year, new you, right? That's what everyone's saying. And it's true. That's the same thing we got to do with our businesses. You have to start new things if you want to change. I know a lot of agents this last year struggled, but I'll be honest, a lot of agents didn't do anything different, right? That's just the truth. Is a lot of people are trying to do the same things that's worked for them in years past. So when we do talk about new things or trying new things or building confidence, I love this. This is my favorite topic because the truth is that this is life changing for agents that implement it, that try it, that go out there outside of their own comfort level or outside their box. They try new things in their business and they will have success. One of my favorite things about real estate is that it really doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're doing things that work. You can't just randomly screen them out in the middle of the street. But as long as you're doing things that work, that we are testing, and you implement them in your business, you're going to see success. You have to be consistent. Like Dave was saying, you can't just jump into something and expect it to instantly work. But if you're consistent with things, they do work because we have proven them to work. And over the holidays, I did a whole bunch of work on partnerships, trying to get discounts and those types of things with the companies that we are currently using because we want our agents to try them. It's kind of obviously it's a struggle because we don't go out and pay for everyone's systems. So we want them to try them, but a lot of people are reluctant or they're hesitant or, like Dave was saying, there was a challenging year. So they're not ready to go out and make the change. But I'm telling you, it's a new year, new you. It's time for you to change your business. We're doing all kinds of new things. We're obviously continuing to implement the stuff we're have been working that really worked during the downturn, which has been obviously more listing focused. But this year, I think I said this last time before the holiday, I'm going way outside of my comfort box. We are trying, or we aren't trying. We're going to be giving away a house, a whole home to somebody that needs it. I don't know exactly how to do it, right? We're putting the pieces together and it's way outside of my comfort zone, you guys. I'm just being totally honest, kind of maybe even a little bit vulnerable that I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it happen. And you have to do those type of things to stand out. And our market down here is just as competitive as I know all of your markets are. But I know if we can accomplish that and we can do good, the old saying is you can have anything, right? If you help someone else get it first. If I can do that and really affect and accomplish things, I know for a fact that our businesses continue to thrive and grow the way that we want it to. So, Dave said Fellow. Fellow's great. I actually was able to get a discount code for the Next Gen Group for Fellow because it is a way to re-engage your already you're already contacted or you're already made database. For people that aren't using Fellow or newer agents or people that are, most likely in the situation where I think a lot of agents are, they're trying to find new leads. They're trying to grow a database. They're not necessarily got that 20,000 or 30,000 person database that, I know a lot of the agents here on the panel have. They're younger, they're newer, they're trying to really get stuff going. And a cost is always a big factor. So for a lot of agents, the things that I would recommend right now to build confidence, to try new things in your business in 2025, it's going to be doing a e-newsletter because they're very, very inexpensive. E-newsletters, you guys, it allows you to contact people that want to build confidence and build trust with you, right? You're able to do that with a newsletter because they've already reached out to you or you've already worked with them. It's a great way to keep following up with them. And then obviously add new people. You can add people into this newsletter. There's tons of hooks. I'm sure Matt will talk about a few of those that you can use to draw people in or attract people to a landing page. We use either GetResponse, which I know has been an industry leader forever. Everyone knows about GetResponse. We actually, though, because of cost and we're just trying to figure out better ways to do something, found a company called Beehive. And I'll put a link in the chat. Same thing, guys. Great newsletters, great landing pages. They do everything you want, and they're relatively inexpensive. So Beehive or GetResponse, they both do similar things. Great way to start a newsletter that you can send out bi-weekly, weekly, however much you want to do it. But really stay in front of people, become that go-to person, and it's almost free if you have a small database. A big thing I have talked to a lot of agents that they really want to do this year is social media. You guys, social media, I think it's huge. It's a great part of your business in real estate. It isn't going to be your number one lead generator. That's just the truth. I've done a lot of social media, so I can be an authority in that it will do a few deals a year through it, but don't try to make it your number one priority. With that said, though, don't be afraid. You need to get out there, get your face in front of a camera, post it, be vulnerable. People love it, you guys. People want to see you. They're going to work with the person they like, and that's it's an incredible way to build a persona. And that's the other part of it. You get to build a persona there, right? It doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent. It doesn't matter if you're experienced. It doesn't matter if, you're 20 years in or 5 years in, like Mitchie over it. No, I'm just kidding. But, if you're an experienced agent, you can go on camera and you can tell people market stats. You can give people the information they want, that they really are looking for, and it positions you as being the market expert. So do not be afraid to do social media. I've talked ad nauseum on social media, you guys on this panel, but do it, get out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself in front of a camera and say what's up. Like, be the person that you are. Be professional if you're professional. Be fun if you're fun. Be a pet person if you're a pet person. You can do it, and all it takes is you starting. So social media is one of those things that I, recommend that everyone start doing. But do not expect it to be your number one lead gen. That is something that grows over time. And then obviously, one thing that I've never been excellent at, admittingly so, but I really have been trying this last year, is handwritten cards. And yeah, I literally handwrite them all. For business, we can't do that. And I was looking for a way to get more agents to try handwritten cards. We've partnered up with Thanks.io. They use a handwriting machine. They gave us a kind of a $10 discount or $25 discount, I think. But it's just a great way if you want to do handwritten cards, make them look real, but not actually wear out your hand doing them. The cost and everything associated with Thanks.io has been great. So those have been our big things. Handwritten cards, I really think for past clients, for friends, family, sphere of influence, that is just the best. It's even better than social media. For the one tier farther away from you, or kind of, your past clients or sphere of influence, friends of friends, that social media is the way to go. And if you position yourself as the expert, you will become the expert. People will call you, they will text you, they'll reach out to you on Facebook and they'll be like, hey, you're the guy, the real estate, expert. And you're like, man, I've only been doing it for 2 years, but I guess so if you say so. And that's the cool part about social media, is you can build that trust with people organically. You're not trying to buy it. You're not trying to fake them out. You're just truly building trust. And everyone needs to start that. And then again, the e-newsletter for new leads, for active leads, that kind of stuff is, other than direct mail, which I know a couple of you guys are going to talk about, the e-newsletter for us has been, really good. And I'm going to be honest, everybody, those aren't big, scary, things to get into. Those aren't things that you should be, fearing to start, but you have to start them. So those are the 3 things I wanted to share. I'm really looking forward to everyone else's kind of recommendations, because I know this is where we really grow.
Love that. Let's go over to Gary Massa. I think his computer is working now, and let's get his take. He's fresh back from Mexico. He crossed the border. They let him over, and they're giving him all types of perks for coming back to La Jolla. Go ahead, Gary. What innovative things have you tried that kind of took you outside your comfort zone, that you're putting into action, or you have put into action?
And just to make sure, you guys can hear me okay, right? Okay, I can barely hear the sound, but I can hear well enough, but I can talk. Okay, so I think back to like one of the biggest things that got me outside of my comfort zone was the exploration or transition into new market into Cabo San Lucas. This was like 2019. It sounded like a good idea, and then afterwards, after I kind of made the decision and the tequila wore off a little bit, it was, then it was becoming real. And there was fear setting in of like how to actually make this happen going into another country, not just another state or another market within the state that I had some familiarity with. It was, it was real estate, but it was still completely foreign on so many levels of how transactions worked, how to do business, within the government of, a different country, especially Mexico. And then how to reach out to and attract and appeal to the clientele, and so part of the ways that I gained confidence in this was a couple different things. One, passion. I felt passionate about it. I was really excited about it, and I really leaned into that. Secondly was basically learning, being able to pick the brains or talk to mentors or other people about how they've made that, that switch. At that particular time, there was, a handful of people that also worked at the brokerage that I went to work for that have also moved from other states, in the United States to Cabo, was doing kind of a cross-border, marketing strategy. So I was able to pick their brains and kind of gather some intel and learn about their, challenges and failures and successes, and be able to kind of implement that in my, my plan. And then I was able to have them help kind of guide me through that process. But at the end of the day, it was really about, for me, taking action. You can study all you want. You can learn from other people and talk about it and whatever the case, but you've got to just put it in, you've got to put it into action. So a couple of things that I wrote down here, the thing about confidence and building confidence, which is the point of today, is that, I think the lack of confidence comes from fear, right? I think that all just boils down to that one piece. And how do we get out of fear, and how do we build confidence, especially on uncharted ground or something we haven't, started before? Cam, you mentioned a lot of, great marketing opportunities to get started into this year. And maybe it's about getting in front of camera. Maybe it's about opening a new market, or hiring an assistant, or building a team, or just kind of taking that step. But the point is that, you do have to have a plan, right? You got to study up on what you're trying to do, talk to the mentors ahead of you. But when you have that plan, and you at least know a little bit of what you're talking about. Now, let's just be real. You can't sit here and study forever, because it's going to, there's a line in the sand of getting ready and knowing what you're trying to, to accomplish. And then taking action. A lot of times people get stuck in the studying and trying to learn and, get all the tools together. You're never going to be 100% ready. But I found that, like, when you start taking the action and you're following the steps of the plan, that helps build confidence. Like when you are making your calls throughout the day and you're going through the schedule of your day and you're actually hitting those milestones, that helps build the confidence to keep you going forward. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to be ready, to the fullest, but you'll be ready enough, and you just got to, start on it. So, I mean, again, just kind of wrapping that up, building confidence, I think, comes from within, and you just have to get started and take and keep in action, even when trying to start operations in another country, or just in your own backyard and getting onto video. It's all kind of the same. It's just about, finding where that confidence comes from and believing in yourself, believing in your gut.
Don't get paralysis by analysis. I love
That's
that,
right.
Gary. Nice
That's right.
work.
That's right.
All right, let's go to Ross the Boss Stout. He was jumping in. He was coming in hot out of the desert.
Coming in hot.
He's ready to go.
He's the only person in this whole Zoom except Randy who's wearing a T-shirt because he's out in the desert. So
Yeah, man. It's branded. It's fine. It's got my logo
I like
on it.
that.
So it's work attire.
So what are you doing to build confidence in 2025, not only with the agents on your team or your business or your own mindset, but also with your clients? How are you building confidence? What tools are you using?
Cool. Tools. I'll touch on that. What I wanted to talk about was stepping out of your comfort zone a bit, kind of pinning on what Gary was talking about. In 2024, I took his mentality of grab the bull by the horns, and I decided I wanted to go from 2 agents to 1 million, and I only got to like 100. But that was something that I stepped out of my comfort zone. I had no idea about the San Francisco market, no idea about really the San Diego market, LA, Sacramento. I know nothing about these places, but I do know how to meet people and how to find experts in those areas, and then finding out ways to work together. And the biggest thing that I've committed to so far this year is finding the people that I really want to engage with, and then acting on that. So like this morning after the gym at 7:30, I started calling people and giving them the wake up call to greatness. And it was, hey, just wanted to connect with you And I started with agents on my team. So it was like, hey, how's your workflow going this morning? I've already been up for 2 hours. I've studied, I've read, I've worked out. Like, where are you at in your day? And just trying to set good habits. Got to pray with some people on the phone today. Like, people need people, and I want to commit myself to not just always worrying about where my next deal is coming from, but really building into everyone that I've been so gracious to be surrounded by. And I'm grateful for those opportunities. I want to relay that to them in a real, authentic way. And I just wanted to encourage everyone, if you're looking for a way to grow your business, find out who you are and be authentic about it. Kind of like what Cam was saying. If you're the pet person, if you're find out who you are and then build that out. Not just on a social media platform, that's important. Like, get comfortable doing that. I love that. Not just like in your systems, but have it resonate in who you are and share that with people. Jump out of your comfort zone, get on the phone, invite somebody to lunch, build into somebody's life. And as you build into people's lives, they'll want to reciprocate and build into your life. I mean, everybody knows that concept, but I don't see a lot of people living that out. And the kind of gratification you get from somebody being on the phone with you and being real with you and getting beyond like, hey, did you make your calls a day, and asking them to pray with you or something like that. Like, that is the stuff that moves mountains, and that I'm seeing is going to be a huge push in my business this year and in my agent's business. And so I don't need a system for that. All I need is my phone and a little bit of love going out to the people. So that's what I'm working on. But when it comes to systems, like, wow, me and Matt could talk for days on what we've been doing for the last 6 months, but we got some stuff ready to roll out. And Matt did a really cool class on Tuesday about getting on the Facebook Marketplace and how to position yourself there. Like, that's a great start. And then getting on camera, shooting what you're doing in your business, and then putting it in Meta and targeting people, doing an ad spend. Even if you're just talking about how much you love pets and you sell real estate, do an ad spend and then put in the search bar pets, real estate pets. I don't know. I just spit. I laughed at that one. Sorry. But like, shoot for what you're into, position yourself there, be authentic, and then share it either personally or widespread on all these platforms that, you can do it for free, or you can boost it and spend thousands of dollars, whatever you're comfortable doing, but it will pay off, because I'm not for everyone. Pete's not for everyone. Nobody is going to sell to the entire market. It's you're going to resonate with your market share, and all you need to do is get in front of them. So those would be my pieces of advice.
No, I think those are great pieces of advice. And I like that you have a morning routine, and it builds confidence and it gets your energy going and so forth. You guys, if you really want to get your confidence up and get it going, get enough sleep, stop watching the news, stop drinking, eat healthy, have a morning routine. These are simple things that cost you nothing, right? Read something of inspiration. Every day I read a passage from this book called The Faithful Man. It's really, really cool, and it keeps you in touch with your spirituality. And, there's a lot of different things you need to do in the morning to get you going, because real estate is a grindy business, and it's tough and it's lonely. And there's times that a lot of self-doubt comes into your mind. So you have to create a strong mindset. So I think those were great points for us. Let's go over to the ROG. He's sitting there. He's got cupcakes going. He's got everything going. So ROG, what have you tried in the past that you weren't really confident on, and you weren't really sure you had the resources for, that you implemented into your business?
I'll be honest. After all the years, especially in the past 3 years, it's each year as I've grown with you guys in this organization and this mastermind call each week, you really challenge yourself on how much bullshit you're calling yourself, and how much you don't do. You say you do it, but I call bullshit. Sorry, tastes like chicken is another way of saying that. But I called that on myself this year in 2025. And I said, what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that my CRMs are running the right way and only the right way. And I'm going to stick to it. And they're all going to be task oriented to where it's at. So we actually went to Brivity in the system because my VAs are using it. I also went to split hours on my VAs, which I thought they all had to work my hours. Well, I have one now 8 to 5, and I have another one that's 10 to 7. My mind's still going, and I was running out of time to tell them what to do. So I split their times. And I'm not also allowed to touch contracts anymore. I'm not typing them. I'm not sending them. I have to get them to the point that they're being done and implemented, because they're all wasting my time. But it's also my confidence that it's being done right. And why wasn't it being done right? Because I wasn't teaching them how to be right. And then you said, what is the big hairy, as Jesse Itzer, who we all had a chance to see when we were down in Miami. Matter of fact, one of the things I did was I bought the big ass calendar that he had, and we're filling it in. But he calls it the Musang. Doing something you've never been, so big and so scary that you don't know what to do. Hey, next Wednesday, 10:30 a.m., I'm live on the radio in Philly for 4 months for a half hour. It's called Unscripted Real Estate Talk, with the charm and the miss of 36 years of real estate and over 4,000. I can have guests on. I don't have to have guests on. We're going to have it videoed. We're going to then take that and cut it into our stuff that'll be blogs on our YouTube. So all the things that were fearful, I decided to go big and go home. I'm either going to embarrass the shit out of myself on radio, or I'm going to get my big boy pants on, figure out how to do it, and rock it. So there's two choices, and failure is not it. So I decided to commit to that. So you want to talk about uncomfortable? You want to talk about squeezing parts of your body you didn't know you had? Guess what? Next Wednesday, man, I am all in, and I'm excited. I am really, really excited. I was talking to the guy how I did this was the guy's going on vacation, and I said, I'll cover your spots. I said, I have a problem. You do it calm sitting there, because I was on the show with him. I said, hell no, these mics better stand up, because I can't do this sitting down. So my hands are going to be flailing. We're going to be getting going. But again, it's putting yourself out there and saying, I'm willing to I'm willing to fail. I'm willing to get uncomfortable. Gary changed the country. I'm just going loud on the radio with mediocre English and Philonese, as I said, with my hands. So I've talked about it. Is it an ego trip? Nah. I got a feeling there's something that's going to change. It's going to help somebody. It's going to do something. But one thing for sure as hell, it's going to make me better, because I'm going to have to know my statistics for the market that I update each week. I'm going to have to know what I'm talking about each week. And you can't do a smoke and mirror when you're live on the radio. So it's going to make me better. So that's what a couple of things I did. The VAs, making sure that I'm staying to the CRM, and got real uncomfortable with putting myself out there.
I love the radio station. I think that's brilliant. And you can take all that material and have the VAs cut it up and get it out there, right? You have to take some risks. And I don't even look at that as a risk, ROG. I look at that as an opportunity and a way for you to really branch out into different genres, right? Or different mediums. And that's really, really cool. So talking about mediums, he's not bragging. He's just applying for a job in 2025. We're going to Matt Battiata is coming in hot. He's done radio. He's done TV. He's done billboards. He's done modeling. He's done a lot of things, right? So Matt, what have you done in the past? I think you're really one of the experts on this topic, where you've stepped outside your comfort zone and your confidence zone to try different things. So what would you recommend to everybody on this call that they should try this year, or give them some suggestions that they should try? And what are you trying? What new stuff are you trying?
Yeah, well, first, Lurch, you're going to kill it on the radio. I can guarantee you. So you should not be nervous about that at all.
Thank you.
I think Howard Stern should be nervous, because here comes Lurchy.
No, you'll do great. Yeah, for me, the big thing in 2025 is definitely, and it sounds kind of ridiculous. Maybe it shows my age, but I have no problem, doing TV commercials, going on the news, doing all those things. But for some reason, I've just always had a hesitance to do social media. And I finally have come to the realization that I just have to get over myself and really jump into social media. So my big thing in 2025 is going to be content. I already do, I've pulled this out. I already do a month, I do a lot of direct mail. This is something that I've talked about before. I did this for a few years pre-pandemic. This is a 32-page magazine. And what I like about this, and I'll get back to my point, but what I like about this is I have 32 pages. I used to do the real marketing thing that a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. That looks like this, right? It's just 4 pages. It's like a market update. It gives you a little bit of room to, to have testimonials and stuff like this. But this thing gives me 32 pages, and it's cheaper than this, right? And I can have advertisers in the back pay for it. Not for all of it, but pay for some of it. So this is a company called Neighborhood Connection, the Neighborhood Connection. I'll put their contact information in there. I think it's a great way to, I've gotten, just in the few months that I've been doing this, I think I've gotten about $10 million in listings from it. So that's a really good ROI, obviously. But, as Pete mentioned, I used to do a lot of TV. I used to do radio. Those things are really, really expensive. And, when you go, if you go a few months of spending the money that it takes to be on TV and on the radio, as far as ad spend, and you do not get a return, it can drain your bank account really, really quickly. That's the beauty of social media, right? When I did TV commercials, when I would show up on a listing appointment, people would say, "Wow, I can't believe you're here in my house. You're sitting in my living room, and I feel like you're a celebrity because I see you on TV all the time." You can do the exact same thing with social media. So, and it's free, right? You can post YouTube videos, you can post reels on Instagram, etc., TikTok, and you will get the exact same response. People say, "Man, I see you all the time, and I can't believe you're here in my house." Is that a great environment for when you're at a listing appointment? When people say that? Absolutely. So we all have the ability to do that. And so that's really my big thing. Like, for example, I was watching all these horrible fires on the news this morning, and I thought about the impact that's going to have on our insurance industry here in California and the California Fair Plan. And I read a short article for about 2 minutes this morning about the impact it's going to have. So I went in my backyard and I shot a video, like a little 2-minute video that I posted on Instagram and YouTube. And any of us can do that. And so if you're not doing that, you just have to, just like Lurch said, you got to get get out of your comfort zone. And again, I don't know why social media is outside of my comfort zone, but it is. But that's the big thing that I'm going to be doing. And the other thing the last thing I'll end with is everybody on this call, this is the time of the year to figure out what you're going to do for the next year as far as marketing goes. And, don't be overwhelmed by all the different options. Pick 1 or 2 things, implement them so that they're on autopilot. You cannot, we all get super busy, and the cycle is, you do some marketing, you get a return, you get busy selling real estate, and then you don't have the time to do it for the next month or the month after that. It's got to be on autopilot. So that's the critical thing. Whatever marketing you're going to pick to do for the next, moving forward, you got to be consistent. And marketing works. That, the next thing is your messaging. So I hear all the time agents saying, "Yeah, I tried direct mail and it didn't work," or "I tried social media, it didn't work." It did work. It got you in front of the prospects. The problem is your message. If you didn't get a return on it, your message was weak. So, you've got to come up with a a message that sets you apart from the competition so that you are not a commodity. So like I've got an appointment tomorrow. The guy's interviewed 3 agents, and I've got to go in there with a pitch that is going to set me apart from all the other people. I can't just go in there and say, well, you know, what's the lowest commission I can give you to make you go with me, right? Because if he's smart, he won't go with the guy that gives him the lowest commission. He's going to go with the guy that's going to give him the best return. So you've got to figure out what's going to set you apart from your competition, and then you've got to put that in your marketing, and your marketing has got to be on autopilot.
I want to jump in real quick, because you guys said some stuff that I'm going to give you something. If you're trying to do social media, or Craig, like you're doing with your radio show, you guys, people are going to love you. So first off, don't worry. They're going to love you. It's crazy. And like Matt, like you said, when you walk into people's houses and they go, I can't believe you're here. They do that on social media too. And it's like you can get out to literally millions of people. But the tool I want to give you guys, and this will literally change your social media game if you're going to do it and you're really going to be consistent with it. It's called Opus Clips, and I'll post it in the chat. Opus Clips. And what it does is it takes like our panel videos here. It'll take an hour-long video, and it'll break it in to 45-second reels or stuff that you can also post alongside your main content. That way you can direct that traffic back to your main content. So I'm going to post it here. It's Opus Clips. You guys, this thing has made my social media so much faster. But if you're going to do it, you got to do it at least right. And that's one of those tools that you got to use.
Is it opusclips.com or is it opusclips.ai or is it an app?
I'm going to post it. Give me 1 second. Here it is. Opus Pro.
Oh.
There we go. I just posted it in the chat room. Opus, OPUS period PRO.
Okay, so opus.pro. I want to
That's
write
it.
this down.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's .com or is it no? Or is it just
Opus.pro. That's
It's
it.
opus.pro. That's it. So it's www.opus.pro.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the birthday boy. I know he's sometimes lacking confidence. He's got a full head of hair, and that's what he wished for his birthday, but it didn't come true yet. But Mitch, listen, I sent you a 90s wig that you can wear that has a mullet. It'll look great. So
Yeah, I tried to explain for Jeanette. It was good.
yeah, you'll feel like you're back in your rocking days with Macbeth. All right, and
Good old days.
good old days. So, kind of share with everybody some of the tips you're doing this year that might be outside your comfort zone or what you're putting into action that aren't too costly to make money.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take a step back first, and obviously I am very shy, as you all know, so this is really hard for me to even have these conversations. So if I had listened to what the world had told me not to do my entire life, I would have hair. I wouldn't be here today, but I would have hair. And what do I mean by that? I remember, as most of you guys know, I was the first online dating service, and I had a regular dating service at the time. And I remember talking to another guy that owned a dating service, and I told him what I was going to do, and he's like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in the world." And I go, maybe, but if I don't do it, somebody else might, right? So that was one instance where I did that, and obviously that was ridiculously changed my life. And then even, not to bring up EXP because I know we don't do this in this call, but I can't tell you because I was the first big broker to move to EXP, right? Everybody told me I was a moron. Right? Everybody told me I was a moron. Literally, everybody. Even my friends like, "What are you doing? You got a successful broker." And I go, "Look, it's a vision."
I think I even told you that when we talked. I think I said
so.
you're crazy. So
I think so. I know Dennis did. And when I started doing forced registration in 2001, I can't tell you how many realtors called me and told me I was a fool. And now if you're not doing forced registration, you don't know what you're doing, right? So why am I telling these things? Not to say because I'm this great visionary. It's just that I happen to be wicked smart. I just don't look like that. I just look like a moron, but I'm kind of smart. But anyway, so what I really want to talk about real quick is it's all in your brain. A lot of you are holding back on what you're doing in the next level is because of your brain. You think you're afraid of what people are going to think of you. Get rid of that. You're afraid that it's not going to work. It might not. But you know what? If I didn't do the things I did because everybody told me it wouldn't work, I wouldn't be where I am today. In getting out of your comfort zone is the most important thing you can do. Was I comfortable giving up my regular dating service and spending $1 million on building the first online dating service? No, that was wicked uncomfortable. But the reality is I believed in myself and I believed in it. So one of my favorite lines, and you guys have heard me say this before, is whether you think you can and think you can't, you're right. It's a quote by Henry Ford. It's still the best line ever made in the history of lines, with the exception of the Zig Ziglar line. If you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want, right? Those are the two. I live by both of those lines. And so what am I doing to change? I'm in a different place than a lot of you guys because I don't really sell real estate anymore. I may have a listing starting on February 1st, but I just don't do it anymore. And I'm glad about that, by the way. But what did I do? So I had to look at my life and say, all right, well, I'm 64. When I get older, losing my hair. I'm 64 and I realized I'm not dead. I'm still an entrepreneur. So what do I want to do? And I'm going to be honest. I almost retired this year. Like I was that close to just stopping. And I looked in the mirror, which I do daily, and had a conversation with myself. And what the hell would you do if you quit everything? And the reality is, I don't have any clue what I would do. I'd probably die because everybody I know who retires dies within 5 years if you have no purpose, right? So what did I do? I did in the last 12 months. I started a title business because I'm a glutton for punishment. I started a property management company because I'm a glutton for punishment. My coaching business is launching probably within the next 2 weeks. And I'm doing those things because, one, I want to affect people's lives, which is where I'm at in my life. And I think if you run your business with the goal of helping other people's lives, and as a realtor, that's what you do, you'll be successful, right? But I'm starting these companies. I want to help realtors change their lives. But here's the difference, and this is where my point is. I want you to run your business as a business. And this is really uncomfortable for a lot of people because you don't know how to be a business person. No offense to that, by the way. I've owned 27 companies. It took me 23 to realize I didn't know what the hell I was doing either. Right? And what do I mean by that? There's a book that every single one of you needs to read called E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And I want you to analyze your time this year. This is a great exercise to do this weekend. And by the way, I don't care if you're selling 100 homes a year or you're selling 1 home a year. This is so important. So all you guys on the panel too, you should be doing this. I want you to look at every minute of every day for 7 days. And this is like one of the best exercises you can do. I do when I bring on coaching students. The first thing I do, analyze every minute of every day. And because those of you that are working 8 to 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day, you're not really doing that. You're really working about 3. If you're doing $10 or $12, today it's $15 or $20 an hour jobs, stop it. Right? That's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to bring on somebody and trust them to do the work. But, again, a lot of you people on here know Pat, my general manager, will be 20 years in March. When I brought her on, I didn't know she was going to be what she is today, but I needed someone to help me get where I was going to go to the next level. And I knew I couldn't go from 50 homes a year to 80 homes a year by myself. So you have to let go. I talked to an agent the other day that sells 100 homes a year, works literally 120 hours a week. Why are you doing that? That's no life. That's just a death sentence. It's prison. So read that book, E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Make sure it's the revisited one because that's the one that's important. It's about a pie shop. It's phenomenal. It changed my life back in 1999. And then let go of the stuff that's $15 to $20 an hour jobs. It's very hard to do. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life was let go of control and trust the people you hire to do the job. Hire slowly, fire quickly. Heck, I've had people that work for me for 2 hours and I fired them. Hey, you're not going to work. Get the hell out of here. But the reality is, if you really want to grow a business today, get rid of your $15 an hour jobs. You should never be doing transaction coordination. That's not your job. Your job is to sell houses, not to go contract to close. For $250 or $350 a transaction, get rid of it. It's the best investment you'll make. If no other reason, you get to play more guitar. I'll teach you. But the reality is you can't be doing that stuff. And it's very hard to do that. I talk to realtors every day. It's what I do for a living, right? And so many of them who are successful are not willing to give up the little $15 an hour jobs. You know what they don't have? They don't have a business. they have a crappy job. No, I'll say it really, they have a really sucky job, right? And so being uncomfortable with comfortable. If you're comfortable, change that immediately. So, anyways, next.
Love that. All right, let's go over to Randy Z. He's in
Yeah.
Tampa. He's at football games. He's out of football games. He's dealing with investors. It's going to be a big investor year. Randy, what are
Yes.
you doing, and what have you done in the past that's kind of been out of your comfort zone to get business going, or to try different things to get business?
Yeah, so one of the most recent things, just there was a life decision. We moved to Tampa, but all my business is in San Diego. So that took a lot of courage and planning and uncertainty, because you don't know. Like, I try to, think through what should I do in order for me to maintain business in San Diego with the clients that I have, because I also don't want them to think I'm not able to help them, because I have an amazing team member on my personal team, Jessica, and she's awesome. Like, I can probably say she's better than me now, which is, for me, I'm glad to say it, honestly. She was my marketing director at my brokerage before we moved to EXP. Now she's a kick-ass realtor. And I want my clients necessarily not to be, hindered by the fact that maybe I'm not there now. But I also wanted to be strategic, right? So one of the things I decided to do is not to announce the fact that, oh, my family moved to Tampa, everybody look, right? I kept my profile saying San Diego. Like, if you look me up on Facebook and Instagram, you would think I'm still in San Diego, right? I don't need to announce everybody, because that's where my clients are, right? A lot of them are looking. Now, I started doing business, of course, over the last year remotely, and when my client it gets funny, because like when we sold their house, I was like, oh, how was your experience? And he's like, hey, let's meet up for a drink. I'm like, well, I got to tell you, I'm actually not there, right? But he had a great experience, so then it doesn't matter, right? So I was very strategic. I wouldn't lie ever. And I also was strategic on how I did it, but it was uncomfortable, man. Like, and I'm still working through it, right? In order to keep the business coming, because that's really where all my business is in terms of personal transactions. Now, I'm also involved in recruiting, and I have a couple other businesses, but that is one of my big businesses. So I work with a lot of investors, like Pete mentioned over there. So anyway, so that's one. And then last year, one new opportunity presented itself that I've never explored, and it was the assumable loans that I've spoke about here several times. And that fell in my lap, and I had to make a decision. Is this something I should take on or not, right? What is this? What can this lead to? Why would I? And, I had all these questions, because it's, if I'm going to put time there, it's going to take it away from something else. So that was a pretty interesting journey. And here's what I now basically just do naturally, but this is really, I used to speak about this topic, attempting to do new things, right? And I'm going to put that image right now in the chat. And I created the 6 R's of development through phases, right? And this kind of helps me, I don't even have to think about it. This is just what I naturally do now. And hence how I came up with the 6 R's when I was speaking in colleges and different things. And I apply that to everything. So assumables, like, okay, what's the result? Well, I want to close referrals. I want to get clients that want to purchase properties or sell properties via an assumable in the nation, right? And I want to get leads. I don't know the numbers yet, because I had no KPI. I had no stats yet, right? But what is the actual goal? Well, create referral commissions, right? It was a broad goal to start, and then you refine it. So then I research it, right? R2, if you're following along what I put in the chat, R2 is research. R1 is result, R2 is research. So I researched, like, why? I didn't know anything about assumable. So I had to research the topic and learn about it, right? Because I had this opportunity present to me to be part of a Facebook group that was growing tremendously, right? That basically was niched in the sumo space, right? So I researched it, but I didn't, like someone was talking about, like, don't
get paralyzed in research stage, right? Where you're just constantly start researching. I got to know everything. Like, no, you don't. Just start. Then you run with it. That's R3. You got to start running with it, right? So then I started running with it. Like, all right, well, let's see how this goes. Let's see if we could get some leads from this Facebook group. And then we started creating the processes of like emails and communication and scripting on how do we get them to give us their information so then we can refer them. And then I had to find agents like, oh my goodness, I have, clients asking for, to help them in this city and that city. I'm like, I don't have them. So then I started, figuring that out. So like there's all these things, then all of a sudden you got it, but they wouldn't happen if you don't run with it, right? And then you kind of figure out next problem. But then at the same time, you got to start creating reports of whatever new thing you're attempting. Because if you're going to attempt it, don't attempt it for like what people said, like, oh, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks even. Like you need to proceed as if you're going to do it long term with a minimum probably 3 to 6 months so you can start tracking the results, which is the R4, which is reporting. You have to start tracking what you're doing. So I started creating Google Sheets and nothing fancy, but you got to have something so you can start reflecting, which is R5, right? So then I started reflecting like, okay, what is this telling me? Like, how many are we closing? Because now I've referred over 350 VA assumable clients that want to buy a house or sell a house via Assumo. Well, that's great, but how many are we closing? Is this even worth it, right? And this is kind of where I'm at now. I have a lot of data. I've been doing a lot of reflection on it over the last few months, but I also started replacing myself in many of the tasks, which is R6. And that's the last one, right? And R6 means replace what's not working with a new strategy, or if it's all working, automate the process by replacing your effort and phase so you can move to the next phase. So you can either replace the strategy altogether. I might have determined in the R6 phase that, you know what, I'm done with assumables. The numbers just don't make sense. And I might just basically scratch the whole business and basically that's it. Replace that whole idea with another idea, right? Or I might say, hey, let me take this piece of this new opportunity that I, was involved in 2024 and let me hire a VA for these tasks because they're very repetitive. So now I have a virtual assistant from Colombia doing a lot of the tasks for me, right? So I replaced a certain portion of the tasks, right? So that's kind of what I would like to share with you guys is like, think about the 6 R's. Hopefully that's beneficial when you start applying and doing new things, run through those. And now what you'll find is you're going to essentially be, if things are working, you're going to be bouncing back between R4 and R6 forever, as long as the opportunity produces fruit, right? Like you're always going to be looking at, you have to be continue doing reporting. You constantly have to be reflecting, and then you constantly got to think about replacing. So that's what I would like to share with you guys and how I approach it. But that was the biggest two: personal, move, and assumable, which is a whole new niche I knew nothing about. And now I feel I consider myself an expert after a year.
I love that. And I wish we could change that whole thing that you said from the 6 Oz to something else, because I have a really tough time saying Oz, right? I mean, Mitch understands. He says Oz too, but it's kind of it's a consonant. It's a consonant that we don't really pronounce. So it would be better if it was like the 6 A's or the 6 B's. But the 6 Oz is a R's for all the people out there. 6 R's is a really good tip. I like that, how you have to go through that. So that's really cool. Yeah, that was a big move that you made, Randy. I made a big move, and we still have our businesses running in other places, and we're doing a lot of referrals, you guys. So that's half the battle, is step outside your comfort zone. It's 2025. Forget what happened in 2024. That's over, right? It's like The Sopranos. It's over. We're in 2025. You have a clean slate, but you have to be consistent, and you have to have a plan, and you have to have the right mindset, and you have to put it into action and execute. That's the key thing, right? Cam knows this. I mean, Cam inspires me to start implementing social media and the ROG inspired me to get a VA to help us out. So, I mean, I'm implementing a lot of things I learn on here too. And I took down Matt's neighborhood connection. You know, I looked at it in the past. Now that he's using it, and he's kind of the guinea pig, not because he doesn't have any hair, because he's Matt Battiati, he's the guinea pig. So I'll talk to him later today and say, okay, what type of results and what is your ROI and is it worth it? And you know something, you guys, I guarantee if you take this information and you apply it to your business, or you apply it in the area you're in, you'll outmarket everyone, because this is the day and the age where you have to be a great marketer, and your marketing should be sending a message on how to solve other people's problems and how you can benefit them, not how you can make money. How can you solve their problem and how will it benefit them? And if you can do that, you'll be a winner. That's the key thing. Okay. All right. We're right at the hour. Hey, let's do me a favor for Mitch's birthday. This was his one wish. Everybody who's on this call, I know we have 33 people on this call. We want to get it up to 500 people every single week. Can you please pass along the link to a friend or bring somebody in with you? You guys, these masterminds are going to help people. We're trying to give all this information away for free to help people and help their businesses. So if you could just pass it on down the line or pass it forward or whatever you want to call it, right? We would greatly appreciate it. That's our goal for this year. Get some people on, remind them of it the day before, remind them of it the morning of, and make sure they have the link and they get on, and then follow up with them and see what they got out of it. That's a really big thing. Okay. And you can send them the notes or the recording too. I think it's always good to watch things back and get all the tips. But everybody, happy New Year. Mitchie, happy birthday.
Thanks, buddy.
You guys next
Happy
Thursday.
birthday, brother.
Happy
you guys.
birthday,
Thanks,
Mitch.
See you guys. Happy birthday, Mitch.
Good luck, ROG, on that radio.
Have a great day, Mitch.
See y'all.
Yeah, just remember, Howard Stern has nothing on you. I think he started in Philly too. I think he had a time he was in Philly. You're taking over the airwaves.
He did.
Talk to you soon.
See you.